Elena signed the divorce papers quietly at midnight. No shouting, no tears, no fight. Just silence. The kind of silence that only happens when love has already died long before the relationship ends. Across the table, Damian Knight adjusted the sleeve of his black suit and signed the papers without hesitation. Like it meant nothing. Like she meant nothing. Elena stared at the signature for a long second before whispering softly, "You never even tried to love me, did you?" Damian finally looked up from the papers. Cold eyes, calm expression, unreadable as always. "If you walk out that door tonight, Elena," he said quietly, "don't come back expecting me to regret it." Her fingers tightened around her purse. For one painful second, she almost begged him to stop her, but then she remembered every lonely night, every cold dinner, every time he looked through her instead of at her. So Elena nodded slowly. "Goodbye, Damian." And without realizing it, Damian Knight watched the only woman who truly loved him walk out of his life forever, 1 year earlier. "Absolutely not," Damian Knight's cold voice echoed through the private dining room of the Knight estate. Across from him, his grandmother calmly sipped her tea. "You don't have a choice anymore," she replied. Damian laughed once, a dry, emotionless laugh. "I'm not marrying some random woman because the media suddenly thinks I'm irresponsible." His grandmother placed the teacup down carefully. "The scandal damaged the company image. Investors are nervous. Your personal life is becoming a problem." Damian leaned back in his chair impatiently. "So your solution is marriage?" "My solution," she said sharply, "is Elena Hart." A photo slid across the table. Damian glanced at it lazily at first, then paused. A beautiful woman stared back at him. Soft eyes, elegant smile, simple black dress. Nothing flashy, nothing fake. "She comes from a respected family," his grandmother continued. "No scandals, no drama. Educated, elegant, perfect wife material." Damian dropped the photo carelessly. "I don't care." "You will." His grandmother's eyes hardened. "Because if this company collapses publicly, everyone loses." Silence filled the room. Damian hated emotional pressure, especially family pressure. Finally, he stood up. "When do I meet her?" Elena sat nervously inside Damian's private office. The entire place screamed power. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked Manhattan. Black marble floors reflected the city lights. Everything looked cold, just like him. When Damian finally walked into the office, Elena immediately stood up. He barely acknowledged her. Tall, sharp jawline, dark suit, dangerously calm presence. Every rumor about Damian Knight suddenly made sense. He sat across from her and loosened his cufflinks slowly. "So," he said flatly, "you already know why you're here." Elena nodded softly. "Yes." "And you're okay with this arrangement?" "Arrangement. Not marriage, not relationship. Arrangement." Elena forced herself to smile politely. "I understand what this is." Damian studied her quietly. Most women around him tried too hard. Too much makeup, too much flirting, too much pretending. But Elena? She looked honest and strangely calm. "You'll have access to my penthouse, my accounts, security, staff," Damian continued. "You'll never have financial problems again." Elena looked down briefly before asking quietly, "And emotionally?" Damian's eyes narrowed slightly. "What?" "This marriage," she whispered. "Is there any chance it could become real someday?" That question irritated him immediately. "No." One word. Cold. Direct. Elena smiled again anyway. But Damian noticed something strange. Even though she was smiling, her eyes looked disappointed. Their wedding photos went viral instantly. The billionaire wedding of the year. America's new power couple. Damian Knight finally marries. Millions of people envied Elena, but none of them knew the truth. The wedding itself felt empty, cold. Damian barely touched her, barely spoke to her. Even during their first dance, his attention stayed on business calls and investors. At one point, Elena laughed softly and asked, "Do you ever stop working?" Damian replied without humor, "Do you ever stop asking personal questions?" The smile disappeared from her face immediately, and for some reason, Damian suddenly felt guilty. A feeling he absolutely hated. Living with Damian felt like living beside a ghost. He left early, returned late. Sometimes Elena wouldn't see him for 2 entire days, even though they lived in the same penthouse. Still, she tried. Every morning, coffee ready. Every night, dinner waiting. She memorized the way he liked his steak, the exact temperature he preferred in the penthouse, the music he played while working. But Damian never noticed. Or maybe he noticed and simply didn't care. One rainy night, Elena waited alone at the dining table again. Candles flickered softly. The food was getting cold. Midnight passed. Then finally, the penthouse doors opened. Elena stood up quickly. Relief filled her face. "Damian, you're home." But the words died instantly, because another woman walked in beside him. Tall, beautiful, confident. Vanessa Cole, Damian's ex-girlfriend. Vanessa removed her coat slowly while looking Elena up and down. Then she smiled slightly. "Oh," she said casually, "so the wife actually exists." Elena forced herself to stay calm. Damian loosened his tie. "Vanessa's company is partnering temporarily with Knight Global." Vanessa walked closer. "I've heard so much about you," she said sweetly. "Mostly from the media, though. Damian never talks about personal things." That sentence hurt more than Elena expected. Dinner became painfully awkward. Vanessa laughed constantly beside Damian, touched his arm while speaking, finished his sentences naturally, like she still belonged there, and Damian never stopped her. At one point, Vanessa leaned back in her chair and smiled. "So, Damian," she asked casually, "are you finally in love with your wife?" Silence. Elena's heartbeat became painfully loud. Damian didn't even look at her before answering. "No." The word hit Elena like a slap. Vanessa smiled slowly. But Elena simply lowered her eyes and continued eating quietly. That silence disturbed Damian more than tears would have. That night, Elena stood alone in the bathroom staring at her reflection. No crying, no screaming, just emptiness. The door behind her opened quietly. Damian stepped inside. "Elena." She didn't turn around. "You embarrassed me tonight," she whispered softly. Damian frowned. "What? You could have lied." "That would have been pointless." Elena laughed painfully under her breath. "Right, because honesty matters now." Damian crossed his arms. "You asked a question. I answered it." Slowly, Elena turned toward him. "For once in your life," she asked quietly, "have you ever wondered how it feels to love someone who doesn't love you back?" Something about her expression made Damian uncomfortable. But instead of answering honestly, he shut down emotionally again. "You knew what this marriage was." And that was the moment Elena finally stopped hoping. The next morning, Elena placed the signed divorce papers neatly on Damian's office desk. The entire penthouse felt cold and unfamiliar now, like she no longer belonged there. Damian looked at the papers briefly before signing the final page without emotion. No hesitation, no questions, just one signature. Elena stared at him quietly. 3 years together. And this was how it ended. No fight, no tears, no attempt to stop her. Damian handed the papers back calmly. You'll still have access to the penthouse until your new place is ready. Elena smiled faintly. Even now, he still sounded like her CEO instead of her husband. I won't need it, she replied softly. Damian nodded once. Fine. That one word almost broke her, but Elena forced herself to remain calm. She picked up her suitcase slowly and walked toward the door. Then suddenly, Elena. She stopped. For one dangerous second, hope returned to her chest, but Damian only said, "Take care of yourself." Tears burned her eyes instantly, because deep down, she had wanted him to say, "Stay." But he never did. So Elena walked away quietly. And this time, she never looked back. The first few days after the divorce felt normal to Damian. Peaceful even. No soft footsteps in the hallway. No dinner waiting at midnight. No quiet presence sitting beside him while he worked. Just silence. Exactly how he liked it. Or so he thought. One night, Damian returned home exhausted after a business meeting. He loosened his tie while walking into the kitchen, then stopped. No coffee. No lights left on for him. Nothing. The penthouse suddenly felt too quiet. He frowned slightly. For the first time, home didn't feel like home anymore. Days passed, then weeks, and strangely, everything reminded him of Elena. Her favorite books still sat untouched on the shelves. Her coffee mug remained beside the sink. Even her perfume still lingered faintly in their bedroom. Damian tried ignoring it, but the more he ignored her absence, the heavier it became. Then one night, he opened his closet and froze. Her side was empty. Completely empty. And for some reason, that hurt more than the divorce itself. 3 months later, the annual Knight Foundation Charity Gala filled one of Manhattan's most luxurious hotels. Cameras flashed nonstop. Politicians, models, billionaires. Damian stood near the ballroom entrance, looking completely emotionless, while investors spoke around him. Until suddenly, he saw her, Elena, standing near the grand staircase in a dark emerald gown. And for the first time in months, Damian forgot how to breathe. She looked different, still elegant, still beautiful, but lighter somehow, happier. Like the sadness he once placed inside her had finally disappeared. Then Damian noticed something else. Another man was standing beside her, tall, handsome, smiling warmly at her. And Elena was smiling back. Something sharp twisted violently inside Damian's chest. Jealousy. Real jealousy. A feeling he had never experienced before. His grandmother noticed immediately. Without looking at him, she whispered softly, "So, now you finally see her." Damian couldn't take his eyes off Elena. And quietly, for the first time in his life, he realized he had made a terrible mistake. The entire night, Damian watched Elena from across the ballroom. Every laugh, every smile, every moment she gave another man the attention she once gave him freely. It drove him insane. Finally, he walked toward her. Elena. She turned slowly and smiled politely. Politely, like he was a stranger now. That hurt more than anger. "Damian," she said calmly. The man beside her extended his hand. "Lucas Bennett." Damian shook it stiffly. Lucas smiled casually. Elena told me a lot about the charity foundation. Not about me. Not about us. Damian hated how much that bothered him. You look well, Damian said quietly. Elena nodded. I am. Silence. Painful silence. Then Lucas gently touched Elena's back. We should head inside. Elena nodded. But before leaving, she looked at Damian one last time. And for the first time, there was no love left in her eyes. Only peace. That terrified him. After the gala, Damian completely lost control of his emotions. He couldn't sleep, couldn't focus, couldn't stop thinking about Elena. Everywhere he looked, he saw memories of her, the way she waited for him at night, the way she smiled quietly while listening to him, the way she loved him without asking for anything back. And suddenly, he realized something horrifying. Nobody would ever love him like that again. One evening, Damian sat alone in the penthouse, staring at Elena's old photos on his phone. His grandmother entered quietly. You love her. It wasn't a question. Damian rubbed his jaw tiredly. I don't know when it happened. His grandmother sighed softly. That girl loved you with her entire heart, and you treated her like temporary furniture. Pain flashed across Damian's face instantly. I know. His grandmother looked at him carefully. And now? Damian's voice dropped quietly. Now I can't breathe without thinking about her. Damian started showing up everywhere. Her favorite cafe, her charity events, her art gallery openings. At first, Elena ignored him completely. Then one rainy evening, Damian finally cornered her gently outside her office building. Elena, please. She stopped walking but didn't turn around. I'm busy. I miss you. That sentence shocked her, because Damian Knight never admitted weakness. Slowly, Elena faced him. Rain poured softly around them. You miss me now, she whispered painfully. After I begged silently for your attention for 3 years. Damian looked destroyed. I was wrong. Elena laughed sadly. You weren't wrong, Damian. You just didn't love me. That's not true anymore. Silence. Then Elena shook her head softly. Too late. And once again, she walked away from him. A week later, Elena arrived at a private garden estate after receiving an invitation from Damian's grandmother. The older woman smiled warmly as Elena sat beside her. You still love him, she said gently. Elena looked down quietly. That's the problem. His grandmother sighed. You know, Damian has never chased anything emotionally in his life. Not love, not affection. Nothing. Elena stayed silent. But after you left? The older woman continued softly. That boy became miserable. Elena's chest tightened painfully. He deserves it. Yes, the grandmother agreed calmly. He does. That answer surprised Elena. But people can change, the older woman whispered. And for the first time in his life, Damian finally understands what love costs when you lose it. Tears slowly filled Elena's eyes, because part of her still loved him, no matter how hard she tried not to. 2 nights after Elena met Damian's grandmother, a soft knock echoed through Elena's apartment. She opened the door slowly and froze. Damian stood outside in the rain. No bodyguards, no driver, no expensive attitude. Just him, completely soaked and emotionally exhausted. Elena, he whispered. She immediately looked away. You shouldn't be here. I know. His voice sounded weak, almost broken. And before Elena could say another word, Damian slowly dropped to his knees in front of her. Her breath caught instantly, because Damian Knight never begged anyone. ever. Rainwater dripped from his dark hair as he looked up at her with tired red eyes. "I'm sorry." Elena's chest tightened painfully. Still, she stayed silent. Damian swallowed hard before continuing. "I spent my entire life believing people only stayed around me for money, power, or status." His voice shook slightly. "Even love felt fake to me." Pain filled his face instantly. "So when you came into my life, I thought you wanted something too." Elena's eyes slowly filled with tears. "But you didn't," Damian whispered. "You loved me quietly while I treated you like you were temporary." His jaw tightened painfully. "You waited for me every night. You cared about me when I didn't deserve it. And I was too emotionally blind to realize you were the only real thing in my life." Elena finally spoke through tears. "You broke me, Damian." That sentence destroyed him instantly. "For 3 years," she whispered painfully, "I lived beside you like a ghost." Damian lowered his eyes. "You never touched me. You never held me. You never looked at me like I was your wife." Tears rolled slowly down her cheeks now. "I became invisible in my own marriage." Damian looked completely shattered. "I know," he whispered weakly. "No," Elena cried softly. "You don't know what it feels like loving someone who makes you feel unwanted every single day." Silence. Heavy, painful silence. Then Damian gently held her trembling hand. "Elena," his voice cracked for the first time, "I cannot change the man I used to be." He looked directly into her tearful eyes. "But if you give me one last chance." His grip tightened softly around her hand. "I swear, I will spend the rest of my life loving you the way you deserved from the beginning." Tears slid silently down Elena's face. Because the most dangerous thing about Damian finally loving her was that part of her still loved him too. 6 months later, soft white flowers filled the cathedral. Sunlight poured beautifully through the windows, and standing at the altar was Damian Knight. But this time, there were no contracts, no family pressure, no business deals, only love, real love. The doors opened slowly. Elena walked in wearing a breathtaking white gown. Damian's eyes immediately filled with emotion. Not coldness, not control. Emotion. Real emotion. When Elena finally reached him, Damian held her hands tightly, almost fearfully, like he was terrified of losing her again. The priest smiled warmly. "Do you, Damian Knight, take Elena Hart to be your wife?" Damian looked directly into her eyes, and this time, his answer came without hesitation. "With everything in me. Yes." Tears filled Elena's eyes instantly, because finally, after all the pain, after all the heartbreak, he loved her openly, completely, fearlessly. Later that night after the wedding, soft candlelight filled the bedroom while the city lights shimmered quietly outside the windows. Everything felt peaceful, different, real. Elena stood nervously near the balcony, her fingers twisting together softly. Damian noticed immediately. He walked toward her slowly and gently brushed a strand of hair behind her ear. "You okay?" he asked softly. Elena nodded nervously. Then, after a long silence, "There's something I need to tell you." Damian's expression softened instantly. "You can tell me anything." Elena looked down shyly before whispering, "I've never been with anyone before." Damian blinked slightly in surprise. "What?" Elena looked embarrassed now. "After the divorce, I tried moving on." She smiled weakly. "I dated someone for a while." Something painful flashed briefly across Damian's face, but he stayed quiet. He wanted to take things further. Elena continued softly, but he realized I was still hurt. Her eyes slowly lifted toward Damian's, so he agreed to wait until I was emotionally ready. Guilt crashed into Damian immediately, because suddenly, he realized how deeply he had damaged the woman standing in front of him. "Elena," his voice sounded full of emotion now. "You spent years giving love to someone who didn't know how to receive it." Tears slowly filled her eyes. Damian gently wiped them away with his thumb. "But I promise you something now." He rested his forehead softly against hers. "You will never regret loving me again." Elena's breathing trembled softly. Then Damian kissed her slowly, tenderly, carefully. Not like the emotionally distant man he used to be, but like a man deeply in love with his wife. And as he held her close that night, Elena realized something beautiful. For the first time since meeting Damian Knight, she finally felt completely loved. The room remained quiet, except for the soft sound of rain against the windows. Damian held Elena gently against his chest, while her fingers rested over his heartbeat. Everything felt warm, safe, real. For a long moment, neither of them spoke, because after everything they survived, words almost felt unnecessary now. Damian slowly brushed his fingers through her hair before whispering softly, "You know what hurts the most." Elena looked up at him quietly. "That I had your love for 3 years and was too blind to see it." Her eyes softened instantly. Damian smiled weakly at himself. "I spent my whole life believing love was temporary. Something people used to gain something from me." He looked down at her carefully. "But you," his voice became emotional, "you loved me when I gave you absolutely nothing." Tears slowly filled Elena's eyes again. Damian gently kissed her forehead. "And somehow, you still found your way back to me." Elena smiled softly through tears. "Because this time," she whispered, "you finally came back for me too." Damian's arms tightened around her instantly, not possessively, not fearfully, but lovingly, like a man who finally understood the value of what he almost lost. Outside, the city lights glittered endlessly beneath the rain. But inside that quiet room, nothing mattered except the two hearts finally loving each other the right way. No contracts, no pretending, no loneliness. Just love. Real love. And as Damian kissed her softly again beneath the candlelight, Elena realized something beautiful. Sometimes the saddest love stories become the most beautiful ones in the end. If this story touched your heart even a little, don't forget to subscribe and become part of this little family. Because here, we don't just tell love stories. We tell the kind of stories that stay with you long after the video ends. And if you've ever loved someone quietly, waited for someone emotionally, or believed love deserves a second chance, then this channel was made for you. Subscribe now for more emotional billionaire love stories like this one. And tell me in the comments, do you think Damian deserved Elena's forgiveness?